this week's edition of our Good Evening Show from Temple Beth in my living room annex of the temple. I'm Rabbi Aklepi, and welcome. This is our weekly show where we get to meet an individual usually from our community, somebody we want to get to know a little better, where we share a cocktail and a mocktail connected to a theme of the day and maybe a couple of words of wisdom as well. Well, we have began this show into the pandemic and we are still here, although luckily we get out a little bit more and many kids have gone back to school. And we have begun the reading of the Sefer Torah again, bringing us this week to the second parasha of the Torah, Noah, or Noah. Noah, the story of the flood. And if you read further, the story of the Tower of Babel, the story of the Tower of Babel, when the people of the world tried to build a tower to reach up into heaven. So these two stories, they've reached somewhere, and I have two things I want to share with you in terms of our libations. The first, where did the ark land? Well, the ark landed Hare Ararat, the mountains of Ararat. Now, Mount Ararat is really outside of Armenia, but it's in the hearts of Armenians. And a number of years ago, when I traveled with the North American Rabbinic Cabinet to Georgia, Georgia, to bring help and aid and see what's happening with the Jewish community in the Federal Republic of Georgia, which is near Armenia, and the kosher caterer of the area was the kosher caterer of Georgia, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. We enjoyed a lot of that Georgian wine close to Armenia, close to Mount Ararat. So I thought that it would be great to have some wine tonight, because if you remember, when Noah left the ark, the first thing that he did was to plant a vineyard. Now, it ends up, it wasn't the best idea, but that's what he did. I have here some Georgian wine, Georgia, close to Armenia, close to the mountains of Ararat, where the ark landed, and that's our first drink. A lot of connections, but just like the Torah, we turn it around and around, we always get there. This is a great Georgian wine, Marani. It's red. Georgian wines are usually red and sweet. I will taste it for you, even though I know what it tastes like, because I should refresh my palate again to share with you. It's really good. Not super sweet. When I say sweet, not like a dessert wine, not like a Manischewitz wine, but if you're a dry wine lover, this isn't for you. But it's so earthy and sweet and really gets you into the feeling of the mountains and being in the mist and a new place and in a desolate place. You can almost picture Mount Ararat, and you can almost picture a beginning of life again, like in the parashat, the portion of Noah. That is our wine. It's a cute bottle, has a picture of a man carrying, it looks like two big jugs of wine. That's the wine. But what else is in that portion? And our guest today is Adam Bornstein. He'll be joining us in a minute. He is our new music teacher at our Temple Beth Early Childhood Center. He's been singing all about the portion of Noah this week. And he's a great educator. And I thought we should spend some time doing something different and educational and fun with our mocktail. So I'm going to attempt to build a Tower of Babel, and hopefully we will not be dispersed like the ancient people. So this is going to be a frozen hot chocolate. I have some hot chocolate that I have frozen, and you can see maybe the little ice particles going on in there. So we have some iced chocolate hot chocolate that's been frozen with even a little bit of ice particles. And now to make the tower, I have 2 different kinds of ice cream. I have set this up. So let's see. How are we going to make the tower? I have some, well, this is frozen yogurt. So have some frozen yogurt. It has some cookies in there. This is going to be a test. To make it stand one on the other, I probably could have used a little less of maybe of the frozen hot chocolate. Let's try some hard shell on top of that. And if I get quickly enough chocolate ice cream, you know what probably, if you look at the current tower, where the Tower of Babel may have been, it's a ziggurat in, this ice cream, not real ice cream either, it's halo. Doesn't really stay up, it's sort of floating. I'm sure it's going to taste good. Stay up there. There we go. They're made from mud bricks, so I'm using the chocolate. And now let's try another bit of the hard shell. It was supposed to stand as a tower, but it's floating like an island. You know what? In a minute, I'll change the story and say it's like the ark landing on top of the mountain. And so I have some, let's see if we can layer. Here's our ziggurat. I'm going to layer the whipped cream. I think I get points for being creative in this. I did not find this recipe anywhere on the internet, but I see that next time it's just going to be a whipped cream ziggurat. There we go. So, Adam, for you working in preschool, creativity is the key. There we have our Tower of Babel. Will I taste this? You bet I'm going to, because this looks great. I have, just in case I make a mess, I have my very special dish towel. Cover up my clothes. There, let's try this one. Okay, that's awesome. I know it's a mocktail and it is a Tower of Babel, but if it were a cocktail, it may even be a little bit better. So to make this better, if you were going to do a project with kids, you absolutely need much less chocolate, maybe just a splash, and you need to build the ice cream, very, very hard ice cream. I remember in college, we used to go to Farrell's outside of Boston. Was it Chestnut Hill, maybe? One of my college friends who was very good in science used to know the different melting points of different ice creams. So to do this, you want an ice cream that melts slower than the other ice creams. So it will stay hard and you can build your Tower of Babel. Okay, so there's our drinks. Sometimes I'm more successful than other times making these drinks, but that is probably one of the most tasty desserts we'll find on Erev Tov. Let's meet Adam. Adam Bornstein, come on in. Unmute. And
hello.
There you are. Okay, welcome, Adam. Adam is one of our newest faculty members at our Temple Beth Day School, but not brand new to our community, because if you are a theater lover, you have seen Adam in our musical theater shows and in our Purim spiels. So welcome, Adam. Which shows would people have seen you in?
They would have seen me with the addition of a ponytail and a couple maybe fake layered abs as Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. And they also may have seen me sporting the black tricorn in the role of Haman, Haman, but in Hamilton format, which was a unique experience to say the least.
Yeah, we did this wonderful Purim spiel last Purim, immediately before the pandemic shut everything down. where we had an original spiel of Hamilton based on Hamilton, and Adam played. Heyman did a great rap, but never say that those abs for Gaston were on your abs. I mean, don't let us forget that. Don't let the magic.
No, the thing is that my real abs were just too muscular that I had to put on fake ones because I was scaring I was scaring the children.
There you go. There's the good answer.
And
So
just like that, just the tour around and round, we found it.
there you go. Right. That's how we know you're a Jewish educator. You always come back to the answer. Excellent. Love that. So welcome. So you have been teaching for about 6 years or so. Tell us, you're not from Miami originally. You are from, where are you from?
I am from Sweet Home Chicago, which I made a joke about this to Rabbi Aklepi earlier, but you can tell that I am from Chicago based on the way I say the word Chicago, if
And
you have not already assumed.
and you chose the Frost School of Music, which we all
I did.
support. So Canes as the place you can get your education in to become a music educator.
Mm-hmm.
And your instrument was?
My instrument of choice was voice, because going into the Frost School of Music, they made you choose a principal. And the one I tend to use most is, well, my voice.
It's your voice, right? And we're going to hear that soon. Adam's going to sing a song for us, also tying into Parashat Noah, the portion of Noah, and one of our favorites, and I bet your favorites too. So tell us, how did you choose music education, and what's your passion in terms of education?
That depends how far you want me to go back. Because when I was 2, and I do not remember this, but my parents do, I was in a Hanukkah pageant for my temple in which I was dressed up as a giant latke, as a giant potato pancake, and I tripped down the stairs after my performance excitedly to my parents and told them, "Mom and Dad, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life." And so from then on, I just always tried to make a point to be performing in something, just to be singing in something, to be acting in something, just to get the chance to be on stage again. It is a very. It's hard to pinpoint a single event because it's just such a rewarding experience to be able to make music and to, even better yet, share that, which I'm glad we're finding new ways to do that during the pandemic. When I was in high school, so fast forwarding a little bit, still in Chicago, I joined my high school a cappella group. And the first one I joined was an all-male a cappella group called Just the Guys, in which we sang a boy band medley. So for our final winter concert, we sang a mashup of Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and any other boy band you can think of. And occasionally I would be allowed to lead sectional rehearsals, to lead a rehearsal for the tenors, of which I was a part. And again, that same rewarding feeling of being able to actually teach the music, to pass on something that is so special and intimate. And I've been in love with that feeling for as long as I can remember. So, in a roundabout way to answer that last question, probably what I value most in music education and in education in general is seeing passion form. It's hard to tell physically sometimes, but to be able to do what I love every day, be silly, sing silly songs, do silly dances sometimes, which be thankful I'm not showing you the Penguin song tonight. Some of the parents are probably familiar with the Penguin song. But doing something I love and seeing the kids love it too. And that is, I mean, ultimately, that's what is most rewarding to me. Seeing passion form at such an early age and just hoping that maybe I inspired another little Latka to want to do that for the rest of their lives.
So can you, thank you, that's a great answer. Can you tell, I mean, so I spend time, I guess throughout my career, always almost always spending also time in preschool. And sometimes you can just see this love of movement and music and the joy just fly out of these little young human beings. And you don't know where their talent is yet. And sometimes you can actually see kids with, they have dance talent, you can hear them sing, but many kids you can't tell the talent, but you can really see the love. Have you been able, even you've only been in the classroom maybe 6 7 years or so, but can you tell if somebody's going to be able to develop their talent? What do you think it takes? Have you followed anybody, any little person, and see anything develop?
Yes, 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 I have. It is. I'm also in the camp that all kids, even a tiny bit, have some innate musical ability, and I try to tap into that. Like we grow up, we develop hearing our mother's heartbeat, and you see babies all the time shaking their rattles, hitting drums, making their own little beats in their tiny little heads. And I try to nurture that. And in one occasion, I believe I met a child in second grade, and I did a little project with them where they wrote their own song, where I would give them a limited amount of notes to choose from, a limited amount of subject material, like a restrictive format, but I would allow them to write their own songs. And I didn't think much of it when I was giving that project to everybody, but later I would get comments that this boy has chosen to pursue clarinet um, because of your music lessons, and that again, that feeling of pride. And clarinet is not an instrument I play. I do not play clarinet, nor do I give clarinet lessons, but the fact that this child was inspired to go out and actually seek out other opportunities themselves was immensely rewarding to me.
And so your first school that you worked in after graduation was a private school, a secular school, and
Mhm.
now for the last couple of months you've been in a Jewish school. How was that transition? Did you ever work in a Jewish camp? Did you work in a Hebrew school? How's the transition been, and what do you like about it?
I will say my transition was greatly eased because during the past, I want to say 5 summers, I've been working as a music specialist at the JCC in Kendall during their summer camp program, and that got me way back in touch with some of the Jewish music I hadn't sung since I went to Israel on Birthright, which was sophomore year of college, and getting to reconnect to that music as a teacher was just something I enjoyed coming back to summer after summer. And when finally I got that opportunity to do it year round, I I wanted to jump on it. It's something that's always been a part of me, and even now I'll try to think of songs to sing for certain themes during the week, and I suddenly remember I learned this song when I was 3, and I didn't even notice that. This song has always been with me, and now I'm teaching it to other people. So the transition has been very much like slipping on an old glove, I would say, that somehow still fits me after 25 years.
So, how do you think that you introducing Jewish music and themes and holidays and ideas to very young children can be an influence in their Jewish identity as they continue through their lives?
Well, and this may be my personal take on it because I just love music so
Okay.
much. Of course. Um, but I think music is almost the central part of my Jewish identity, certainly, and several people's Jewish identity. My biggest memories were singing my Torah portion during my bar mitzvah, was singing Pharaoh, Pharaoh, whoa, baby, let my people go, when I was 6 years old, reading from one of my family's special printed out books of their Passover parody songs. One of my biggest memories is just belting out prayers at the kotel, just singing at the top of my lungs with thousands of strangers as my voice completely abandoned me, but I tried to keep singing anyways. It was my cantor and my rabbi back when I was about 10 teaching me about Purim with their parody of "We didn't start no trouble until Haman started, but he got outsmarted." And I got to see these two grown men just on their knees, strumming acoustic guitars, screaming Billy Joel at the top of their lungs. It's something that's always been a central part of my Jewish identity, and I am immensely glad for that. And I want to give others, especially young people, that same joy.
And I see it. So music is really a way to spirituality for you.
It's part of it's in almost every aspect of Jewish culture, virtually everything.
Yep, it sure is. Well, so you have planned to sing something. I asked you to sing because I love when you sing. I love when you rap during Heyman Tin, but I love when you sing. And you have chosen. I said, think about what you want to sing. You can sing anything that you love, and you chose a great song for this week. It's a song that we all love. Tell us about what you chose.
Of course. So the song I'm about to sing is special to me for two reasons. Number one, because I had a camp counselor who would sing this every summer around a campfire for all the kids, and that's how I first learned it. And then second, when I was brushing up on the story of Noah, and learning about the promise that God made at the end of that story, which I'm sure you're familiar with, that for his devotion, for his faith, for his complete act of selflessness, Noah was rewarded with not only a promise that the world would never be flooded again, but he was rewarded with the world's very first rainbow. And I thought of the rainbow and how there are so many storms and hurricanes in Miami, but almost always you can see a rainbow forming at the end. It's something to look forward to in dark times. It is something that everybody can enjoy and something that connects us. So I've chosen to sing Rainbow Connection from the Muppets. And I've been singing it with the kids as well, just to highlight this story. So I would be very glad if I could share it with you right now. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, they're only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it, but I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on a morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet song that calls the young sailors? I think they're one in the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. There's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Oh, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La di da da di da dum, da da di da 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 do.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. That was great, and a great song for this week, and great to bring in your energy into the classroom. I love that every other week I get to join you and tell a story and light candles and see how the kids are enjoying your music and enjoying your energy and your lessons as well. So one more thing before you go, because I think this is so cool. A little bit of the acapella VP and beatbox. The voice taught me that new word, and can you do some of that cool stuff?
Okay, so I'll give you a very, very, very quick rundown. And for those who have kids at home with are perhaps familiar with the Spider-Man movie that just came out, Into the Spider-Verse, there's one song that is highlighted, Sunflower, which is calling it quits now, baby, I'm a wreck. That one. And the beat for that is surprisingly simple. So we're going to start with the sound of the bass drum. And the bass drum, if you're familiar with a drum set, is the largest one in the set. It has the lowest sound. And to make the sound of a bass drum, you want to think about the consonant B. So basically, think of the word boot. Think of hitting the word boot and just completely hitting that b, b as hard as you can. And eventually, boot, 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 boot. You take out the other letters, so you're just left with that very percussive sound. Next, we have the hi-hat sound, which is two cymbals that are very close together. And that one, if you're familiar with the but that is the last beat of that. The t, 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 t. You're whispering the letter T, 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 t. And eventually, that one you have to do on one big breath multiple times. So take a big breath from the stomach, which is what I always tell the kids. And finally, we have the snare. The snare is one of the most essential drum sounds. It's surprisingly sharp. And for that one, we need a psh sound, which is a combination of the letters P, S, and H. Like you're saying push, but without the vowel. Psh, So by combining the bass drum, boom, the snare drum, the snare drum, psh, and the hi-hat, on a big breath, you can start to combine them. So let me see if I can still do this. It's been a while. All right. And you're left in the dark, boom, unless I stuck by ya, boom. You're my sunflower, boom, for your love is too strong, boom. And you'll be left in the dust, boom, unless I stuck by ya, boom. You're my sunflower, boom. You're my sunflower, boom, 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 boom. And basically you repeat that ad nauseum.
Very, very, very cool. You know, and I love the way you break everything down. So you must be an excellent teacher as well, that even I could understand the differences and how to build it together. So maybe
Are you going to give it a try, Rabbi Aklepi? You going to give it a try?
I'm going to give it a try tomorrow in school.
Okay. All right. Okay.
When I come into preschool tomorrow for Shabbat, give the maybe the snare a try. It's like, it reminds me of like a tzadi. I can do that.
Yeah, that's the tzadi.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I can.
Or you can also practice the sentence boots and cats. Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots.
Oh, I can do that. All right.
Oh, that you can do. Anybody can do that one.
Boots and cats. Okay, I'm going to try that. Excellent. Well, Adam, thank you for being here. I hope that I'll see you tomorrow morning online as you go into the class. It's a level, so you will be Google Meets into the classroom.
Right.
Google Meets from my office into the 4 different levels of preschool tomorrow as we share a little bit more of Noah and what we can teach our children. But it is a pleasure to welcome you into our community. You bring so much, not just the music. I mean, there's a lot of talented people in the world, but what's important is that you bring your soul and your identity and your passion, and you bring those all together, and that's what makes the person that we want to see as an educator and part of our community. So that's awesome. I hope that everybody out there will stay around for the Jewish Voice tonight at 7 p.m. or the Sisterhood opening event at 6 p.m. and of course a whole Shabbat 6:30 for 5:30 tomorrow for Shabbat with the animals. Noah's Bark Shabbat will be on Zoom. Your animal, any kind, not just your dog, your cat, your snake, your hedgehog, whatever you have, can be joining us for Shabbat at 5:30. Cantor Nelson and I will be leading that service. 6:30, another Friday night Kabbalah Shabbat. And of course, 10:30 on Shabbat on Saturday morning for Minyan, and Saturday night Havdalah at 7:30. There's a lot to do, and at every service you can sing. So we hope we'll see you there. Thank you, Adam, for being there, being with us, and we thank and then you back world. Have a great weekend, everybody.
היה מחלק את המכתבים, קיבל אפילו תואר. יום אחד פקח הבחין שאסף גם מכתבים, והג'וב מיד פוטר, כי יש סוף לכל דבר. היי יוי, אני שואל